Um, I know the Sam you play a lot with IoT devices. That's the component of Azure and of artificial intelligence. And
Mm.
of recent, AI has really made a lot of buzz in the technology space, specifically generative AI. I just want to ask, how can organizations strategically leverage artificial intelligence to achieve its business goals and and objectives? Additionally, in what way can we use artificial intelligence to tackle specific business problems and then capitalize on new opportunities? And so I want to hear your thoughts on that, Sam.
Yeah, thank you for the question, MJ. You're right. Again, happy birthday to you. I was wishing I'll probably be around Nigeria for this time, and then would have gone to that spot. But anyways, we'll talk about that backstage. So, interesting question. You're right. AI has really evolved, and not just AI on its own. I think what we also need to appreciate is the fact that the technologies behind AI, those technologies have evolved. What are some of the technologies? Compute power, right, is evolved. Processing power has evolved, has improved. So cloud computing, there are a lot of underlying technologies now. There's quantum computing. There's all sorts of things, GPUs. So the technology behind it itself, has evolved together to the point where we leverage it. If we want to draw some line between traditional and modern ways of running a business, and aligning it to technology, you look like we came from paper-based systems, and then we started digitalizing, so that you have your spreadsheets no longer on a paper but in Excel. Then you move to some word processing with Word. Then that evolution happened. Now, what the power of AI is giving us is more or less like that rapid transition on steroids. And it's good you mentioned that before organizations, think about it or going into it, it's very important that we make sure we are aligning, the company's aspirations and goals and strategies. You need to align them with the AI capabilities. Let's have that at the back of our minds. You can't just use AI if it doesn't align with what your business goals and aspirations are. And I'd like to speak to the fact that, sorry, as of today, it doesn't matter any organization or industry you find yourself in, there is an AI like connection, or AI is applicable in it. I want to go back to a famous quote that Satya Nadella made. He said that in this modern century, every business is an IT business. Gone were the days where somebody said, I'm just a farmer, I'm just a Greek, there's no IT in it. Today we have agri-tech, right? How can you use components like AI to even, determine, is your soil having enough nutrients, to be able to grow the crops you're growing, right? You're seeing some patches on your crops. Today with AI, there are services where you're taking a picture of it to know what's happening to the crop. Do I need to cut it down? Do I need to? So today, every business is an IT business, and that also means that every business stands the opportunity to grow and to stay ahead of the competition using AI. I'm going to touch on a few things where businesses can strategically align to use this. Now, one example would be identifying business needs and goals, right? Now, you can use AI obviously to analyze your business operations, right? Identify the areas where you have insufficiency, right? Where there's high cost and where you can have potential growth. Now, there's massive data. I know Deji is going to talk about a lot of data stuff. Businesses generate a lot of data. Some businesses are fortunate to be able to collect the data in one way or the other. Others are not even collecting it. Others even don't know how to collect the data. The data is just, they don't even realize that this activity is a data point I need to collect to help me make some informed decisions, right? And I'm sure did you cover that? But that's one way. You have that data. AI can help you identify problems and how to better solve them. We can talk about data management and analysis. The data that you've collected, right? You've collected the data. You can use AI to perform analysis and give you some insight on where you think areas where, no, we need to change this, we need to work on this, we need to include that, and that's going to help. That's another option. Now you can look at process optimization and automation, which where sometimes I come in, and my example with my example with the beer, right? Think about that whole process where something as simple as even though I use beer to do that, but something as simple as automating your operation systems, right? And because it's automated, you are feeding data into a platform where AI can now make inference and actually even tell you that, look, from our analysis we realize that um it takes you about for the past couple of for the past quarter, it's probably taking you 2 weeks to finish 12 bottles of beer versus in the past it was taking you probably a month to finish. There has been a change in the rate at which you are depleting the beer. Is there something going on? And see, interesting enough, you can correlate this to a lot of things. It could start probably asking me questions about how do I feel, my emotions, am I, and you could now draw some conclusion to say that Sam is probably going through some depression. And that is why beer that he used to finish in 1 month, he's now finishing it in 2 weeks. And thanks to an AI system like that, my doctor could be notified that this your client is going down the depression. So you see how it might feel abstract, but you see how connecting things like IoT to automation to AI and data, a lot of things can happen. Even in healthcare, patient management. Today, I'm wearing a smartwatch. There are Fitbit, there are pressure and heart monitors. These data could be piped into systems running AI that can be running analysis. These data points are synonymous to someone who is likely to have a cardiac arrest. Almost immediately, your doctor could call, or your next of, your emergency contacts could be notified. So that's in the area of process optimization and automation. We can even talk about product and service innovation, right? You can use AI to tailor products and services for individual customers. You have their customer data. You can probably you've been able to collect their buying behavior and analysis. You can actually provide customized discounts and services for just them. We can go ahead and talk about market and sales enhancement, human resource management, risk mitigation and compliance, which I'm sure David will talk about. Now, sometimes there are certain risk factors that are coming to businesses that you might not immediately recognize. It might take a team of risk assessment people to go over certain documents to look at okay, what about his history or the person's history or this, but AI has access to all this data and can do that inference in a matter of seconds. So to sum my general submission on AI, my take is that it doesn't matter what industry you find yourself. It doesn't matter what size of business you are. Today, from a startup to a medium to an enterprise, there is AI in there for all of us. And all these things I have mentioned and more, you can leverage it. Today, you can have a startup that is partly run by AI, right? And therefore, your cost is not as much as if you were to do it some years back. So we need to be open-minded, and I want to start throwing hints on this. Yes, there's whole conversation on AI is going to take our jobs. AI, yes, some jobs might be lost, but the truth of the matter is that if you're a business and you position yourself in leveraging AI, strategically aligning yourself and your business goals with what AI can do for you, right? You are putting yourself ahead of the curve. This is as business. As individuals, we can come to the fact where you become the subject matter expert or the AI expert in the organization to lead that AI revolution or that AI path for your company, becoming the AI champions. We started the same thing with cloud champions. We had businesses where someone had to be the champion for that revolution or for that change. And when the storm blows, because you align with it, you are staying there. But the person or the business that says, oh, I don't want to go AI, I don't want to leverage it, I don't want to learn it, the competition will run ahead of you. You become irrelevant and you lose everything. So, with that, I'll end my